Hello and welcome in today's session. Today we shall be talking about agricultural distribution, regional spread and features 1000 BC to 200 BC. Agricultural diffusion in the peninsular India is a vexed issue. The ancient times of crops and cereals and the technology of agriculture and related practices are difficult to ascertain. Environment and cultural responses appear to have played a significant role in the adoption made by early communities. The creation of agricultural infrastructure and the consequent surge in agrarian expansion came with royal initiatives. The entire process was institutionalized, and even the driest parts in peninsular India were agriculturally inhabited. The process of agricultural expansion was conditioned to the large extent by the opportunities that environment offered. The agro-pastoral nature of pre-Iron Age settlements and the unknown nature of agrarian growth in the Paleolithic period will be of main focus in today's lecture. We will also focus on the heterogeneous character of megalithic subsistence patterns, the concept of ecological zones and coexistence and interrelationship, various facets of agrarian growth in wetlands and mixed and dry zones in different regions of peninsular India. Pre-Iron Age conditions. The earliest pre-Iron Age agricultural settlements in the peninsular India were located in the semi-arid regions where agricultural cultivation had limited possibilities. Owing to sandy, loamy soil and low rainfall, the region was more conducive for development of pastoralism. In the states of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, the lower Godavari, Krishna, Tungabhadra, Pennar and Kaveri basin opened to agriculture in the 3rd millennium BC. A range of subsistence activities such as millet farming, sheep and cattle pastoralism, and wild animal hunting characterized the agro-pastoral economy. Ecology had a significant impact on protohistoric changes which were either characterized by agrarian development or a lack thereof. The western and southern Deccan was habited to the first Chalcolithic cultures. Agro-pastoral economy. The landscape ecology, that is topographical conditions, flora, soil variations and rainfall, along with archaeobotanical and zoological evidences of pre-Iron Age settlements specify the agro-pastoral nature of economy. Generally, areas with the potential of rain-fed gravity, low irrigation were colonized. This colonization was geared to cultivation of millets and pulses. Sheep and goats were less important than cattle in animal husbandry. According to ethno-historical investigation, the practice of shepherding sheep and goats evolved from millet farming and pastoral stock. Late Mesolithic tribes that had survived were inhabited by early farming cultures and they interacted with them. At several places, it has been discovered that the Iron Age civilization and the Neolithic Chalcolithic cultural horizon overlapped. Chalcolithic cultures of Deccan. The region of Deccan is not uniform. The various sub-regions are Western Deccan and high altitude and strategic passes, upland plateau of the central part, the fertile plains of Eastern Deccan, Mysore Plateau and the upper reach of Krishna Tungabhadra plains of the southern Deccan. In the region, the archaeologists have extensively explored Chalcolithic cultures of Maharashtra. Here, the various Chalcolithic cultures like Svalda, Dayambad, Malwa and Jorwe are dated between Christian era 2300 BC and 900 BC. Environmental variation and agrarian specificities. The region of Deccan is marked by features such as plateau-like morphology, shallow stream valleys, basaltic rocks and chalcedony, agate, chat and jasper on the basis of concerned environment. The region abounds in black soil that has moisture retentive minerals. The rainfall variability is high, droughts occur frequently. This moisture retentive quality of soil is seen as a boon for the rain-fed farming in the semi-arid region. High flooding, migrating stream courses and the breaching of natural levees do not affect the settlements in the Deccan Plateau, so has delimiting impact on agriculture as there is no fresh addition on alluvial soil and the dependence on monsoons becomes inevitable. The Svalda sites are mostly found in the Tapi Basin. It has postulated that semi-nomadic Chalcolithic people may have lived and practiced agriculture only during a certain season. The evidence of crop production reveals cultivation of bajra, pearl millet. Generally, the early farming cultures in central India and Deccan produced barley, whereas the Katho people were cultivating bajra. The Malwa culture spread in northern and central parts of Maharashtra is around 1700 BC, primarily in search of fresh pastures. The subsistence pattern of Malwa people indicates cultivation of barley besides domestication of animals and hunting of wild games. Jorve cultures can be considered as a representative Chalcolithic culture of Maharashtra and is spread over the entire state except the coastal strip on the west and Vibhadra region in the northeast. The absence or presence of black cotton soil has been seen as an important determinant. Godavari Basin, because of undaunting surface, records a lesser density, while the Bhima Valley, more or less a rocky terrain with thin soil cover, has sporadic distribution and the minimum density. Crop production and plant economy is better indicated in Malwa and Jorve cultures at Imamgaon and Daimabad in comparison to other sites. Jorve farmers practiced rotation of Kharif and Rabi crops. At Imamgaon, though the principal cereals were barley, cereals like wheat, rice, jowar, kulit and ragi, green pea, lentil green and black grams were also cultivated. The traces of an irrigation channel and an embankment parallel to it belonging to Jorve culture suggests that it could be used as narrow water tank and water could be diverted by adjoining fields by gravity flow. This irrigation channel is supposed to have helped in the cultivation of wheat and hyacinth bean. The channel probably fell into disuse after BC 1200 or so. Subsistence pattern. Subsistence pattern of Chalcolithic cultures in Maharashtra shows some important features. Farming, hunting, fishing, rearing of cattle, sheep, goat, buffalo and pigs. Except for the coastal strip, the semi-aridity of the whole region with an annual rainfall between 400 to 1000 millimeters, possibilities of artificial irrigation at Imamgaon, fertility and moisture retentive nature of black cotton soil and self-plowing character. Though the Chalcolithic farming villages present evidence of early agrarian development, their scope was limited and they could never have an edge, technological or economic, over the pastoralists. Archaeology and literature. Iron Megalithic Age and Tamil anthologies. In peninsular India, several sites including those in the northern Deccan show an overlapping of Neolithic Chalcolithic cultural horizons with Iron Age levels. Megalithic distribution and typology. Megalithic burials strewn in almost the entire peninsula are generally associated with the Iron Age. However, these are not reported from Western Deccan. In Karimnagar has a large number of such burials. Some of the megalithic sites in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh, including the region of Deccan, are Naraisipur, Jadijantalia, Ramapuram, Hallur, South Davar district, Chandravali, Brahmagiri, Maski, Nagarjunakonda, coastal Andhra, Yallavaram, coastal Andhra, Hashampet, Kappa, etc. Megalithic burials reported from the Tamilakkam region include Pannaraipu, Adichandalur, Thirthu, Paravi, Perumal Mallai, Polachi, Porkalam, Kottapalayam, Pazhayannur, Singanalur, Kodumannal, Kadmalaipatru, Periyumbayur, Sanur, and Amritha Mangalam. Megalithic people used a variety of methods for the burial of the dead. These can be classified as sepulchral and non-sepulchral types. The choice of a particular type depended on geological suitability and cultural response as well. Resources like water, minerals, and arable land influenced such choices and had important bearing on megalithic settlements. Agro-pastoral economy. The megalithic burial sites were situated away from the habitation. Also, owing to non-sedentary behavior of the pastoral, semi-settled megalithic farmers, evidence for large identifiable habitation places has not been found. The resource constraint or conflicts with the neighbors seem to have resulted in short periods of occupation and sporadic distribution of such sites. Mackintosh has attributed the higher frequency of the grave sites in the early period to environmental deterioration and cultural response. Presence of some agricultural implements like iron axes, flanged spade, hoe, sickles, etc. indicate the practice of agriculture. Some of the systemic archaeobotanical investigations of megalithic sites have shown evidence of remains of rice, barley, wheat, millet, common pea, lentil, grass pea, horse gram, red gram, Indian jujube, etc. Megalithic cultures which formed the agrarian background to emergence of historical places like deltaic Krishna-Godavari region reveals only occasional occurrences of iron tools. In Telangana plateau, the excavations generally confirm prolific presence of iron implements that were related to increasing craft production. However, few sites in the plateau like Pochampadu and Pedda Bankur have also exposed agricultural implements. Because of non-availability of clear-cut patterns, the megalithic economy has been variously characterized as settled, agrarian, pastoral, nomadic, pastoral, and agricultural or semi-sedentary agriculture. It has been suggested by some that this economy was a mixed one with predominance of pastoralism. In fact, one can visualize different subsistence strategies at work. It was possible that in the early phase pastoralism was dominant, and in the later phase irrigated agriculture became more common in the riverine regions and near areas that were colonized. Tamilakkam Sangam literature and ecological concept of Tannai. Early Tamil anthologies, or what is commonly known as Sangam literature, contains several strata of Tamil compositions. The earliest and most archaic stratum is believed to belong to Iron Age. The region of Tamilakkam, that is the area broadly corresponding to modern-day Tamil Nadu and Kerala, offers possibility for studying various ecological zones and the natural determinants of modes of subsistence in the early historical period. The nature of agriculture in the Tannai ranges from slash and burn cultivation of hills and forests to shifting cultivation and pastoralism of lower hills and lesser forests to plough agriculture of riverine regions to extremely limited possibilities of arid zones, resulting in plundering and hunting activities. Numerous societies like hunters and fur-gatherers, practitioners of shifting agriculture, plunderers and cattle lifters, plough agriculturists, fishermen, and salt manufacturers existed in different and often overlapping ecological segments. Instead of classifying and literally borrowing the contents of Tamil anthologies, social scientists are increasingly making attempts and realistic application of the concept of Tannai. It is difficult to arrange a hierarchy or even segregate these psychographic divisions neatly and fix their chronological development. Both Kuriniji and Mullai had cultivable slopes. The Tannais represents micro-ecozones that overlapped and provided opportunities for interaction. In terms of human communities and material production, overlapping segments were centers of their existence. Items obtained from environment, including agrarian products, were exported from the Tamil land. These included pepper, ginger, cardamom, cloves, aromatics and wood species like teak and sandal, cotton fabrics, and precious and semi-precious stones. Plunder and agriculture. Especially from agricultural point of view, the region of Tamilakam could be further divided into Vannapulam and Mannapulam. Puranaru, a Tamil anthology, contains songs on slash and burn cultivation. As opposed to this, the agriculturists in the wetland area were aware of agrarian technologies like harnessing of blocks at necks with a crossbar, and Tamil anthologies make references to irrigation devices like tanks, minor dams, and use of sluices. Animal power was also used for threshing and pounding. In the redistributive economy, cattle and grains were the common gift items, though some expensive material gifts could also have been offered to the bards. In some studies, the meanings that cattle raids and plunder acquire in redistribution process of megalithic economy and their relationship with agriculture has been highlighted. Several concepts and terms like Vetki, Karanti, Vanchi, Kanchi, and Thumpai indicate the plunder activities. In order to augment their resources, the chieftains of Vannapulam indulged in plunder activities. An inevitable and invariable consequences of such plunders was incessant trampling or putting of the paddy fields on fire. Cultivable fields were destroyed and the peasants always remained vulnerable to such attacks. Thus, in the redistributive economy, plunders played a substantial role. Though the society understood the significance of agricultural surplus for gaining prosperity and strength, but the organization of attack or the raising of the raiding army was not done on a permanent basis. In such scenario, advanced plough agriculture could not spread beyond riverine regions of Kaveri, Vaigai, Tamraparni, and Periyar before the early medieval period. The Manpulam sub-regions existed as islands in the larger landscapes of Vannapulam. It would be inaccurate to assume that these sub-regions remained isolated and stagnant over time. The interaction between hilly tracts and riverine regions had transforming impact on semi-developed or undeveloped ecozones, though the contradiction within economic infrastructure could not be totally done away with. The process of human adaptation was governed by social and environmental restraints. Vannapulams consisted of inhospitable arid and hilly areas besides pastures. As Vannapulamas constituted of diverse ecological niches, subsistence economy could not have been uniform there. Pastoralists, agriculturists who were engaged in animal husbandry and dry farming also practiced craft production. Similarly, in the riverine areas, artisanal categories could be supported by surplus generated from plough agriculture. People in Vannapulam depended on Mannapulam for a variety of reasons, with work for artisans, exchanging hill products with wetland agrarian products and marginal sections of Vannapulam society drawing sustenance in one form or the other. Some exchange centers, Ankati or Avanam, are referred to in Tamil anthologies. Poems in Puranaru describes the exchange routes passing through inhospitable Vannapulam tracts. The common medium of exchange was paddy and the required commodity was salt. This exchange was necessitated by differential access to resources. Items obtained from nature, including agrarian products, were exported from the Tamil land. These include pepper, ginger, cardamom, cloves, aromatics and wood species like teak and sandal, cotton fabrics and precious and semi-precious stones were also exchanged. Dear students, agro-pastoral economy, also known as pre-Iron Age agriculture, was characterized by a variety of subsistence practices such as millet planting, cow and sheep pastoralism, and wild animal hunting. The Chalcolithic cultures all maintained an economy that was agro-pastoral in nature. According to studies, the Chalcolithic Deccan's inconsistent agricultural growth is largely due to the black cotton soil. The megalithic iron economy has been described variously as settled agrarian, pastoral nomadic, agricultural and pastoral or semi-sedentary agriculture due to the lack of clear-cut patterns. Pastoralism dominated the early phases and irrigated agriculture became more prevalent in the riverine regions and new areas were colonized in the later phases. Numerous references to ecological divisions, their interactions and potential for agricultural expansion can be found throughout Sangam literature. Agriculture did not, however, become more important than other means of subsistence during the proto-historic age. The development of new tools for agrarian growth, the building of agricultural infrastructure, and the opening of even dry areas to agriculture mark the early and later medieval periods. With this, we come to the conclusion of today's lecture. Hope you have understood well. See you in some next class. Till then, goodbye and good luck.